Hey guys, and welcome to Bunches of Lunches. In today's video, I'm sharing all of our fun lunches from the week, and this week was a little bit different. Not only was one of our lunches made entirely of Disney cheese, but for the lunches that we made at home, each of my kiddos took turns being in charge for the day. They got to pick out everything, the food, the snacks, the treats, and they joined me in the kitchen to make the lunch themselves. So if you're looking for some tasty lunch ideas that kids and teens can make for themselves, definitely stay tuned. Okay friends, we're kicking off the week with Mackenzie in charge.
Hi guys!
And for the main course, we're going to try out a copycat recipe for Mackenzie's favorite Costco item. You want to tell them what it is?
It's the food court chicken bake.
We're going to prep our space here with some flour so that our dough doesn't stick. And technically, you're supposed to use pizza dough for this. But number one, my store didn't have any fresh pizza dough available. And number two, I want to make this quick and easy. So I'm taking a shortcut by using crescent dough instead. Oh, and I'm cutting this into 4 pieces.
And then I'm going to pinch the seams together like this.
Now, our chicken bakes aren't going to be as big as the ones from Costco, but I'm cool with that because I think they are ginormous. Next comes the Caesar dressing.
We're just gonna spread some out all over the dough.
For our chicken, we're taking another shortcut from the store, and we're just using this kind that is frozen but already cooked. So all I have to do is pop it in the microwave. But if you have a rotisserie chicken or some leftover chicken, this would be an excellent way to use it up. Now, Costco chicken bakes also have bacon in them, so I have this kind that just has to be microwaved for a few minutes.
And once they're done, we have to break it all into small pieces.
A few years ago, they used to have green onions in the chicken bakes themselves, but I've heard that they don't have them anymore. Is that true?
We're gonna add them anyway.
Then we're gonna top that with some shredded mozzarella
and some Parmesan cheese.
Next, we're going to carefully roll these up and hopefully they won't fall apart. And then they're gonna get brushed with more Caesar dressing.
And we'll add more Parmesan on top.
Yeah, because those chicken bakes always have like a cheesy crust on the outside, and that's the look that we're hoping for. Now these go in the oven at 450 for about 10 to 12 minutes. And you guys check these out now that they're done.
These smell so good.
Yeah, they really do smell like the Costco chicken bakes. They're not exactly the same, but I think they're pretty close. Now moving on to the fruit and veggie.
For the fruit, I chose strawberries. And for the veggies, I chose Caesar salad. For a snack on the side, I'm adding some of the Caesar Snap Pea Crisps.
And then for the sweet treat, I made Mackenzie's favorite 2-ingredient fall muffins this morning. And here's how I made them. All you're gonna need is 1 box of spice cake mix, and to this you also need to add 1 can of pumpkin puree. And that's pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix. Now this batter is really thick because you're not adding oil or water or eggs. So I really think an electric mixer comes in handy for this. Otherwise, you're going to get an arm workout when trying to mix this by hand. This next part is optional, but we really love to add chocolate chips into these muffins as well. So once I've mixed those in, I just use my scooper to get the batter into my silicone pan. And I am a huge fan of silicone pans because then I don't have to worry about my muffins sticking. And you guys, if you make these 2 or 3 ingredient muffins, just know that because these have a lot of pumpkin in them, they do come out a little bit more dense and chewy instead of light and fluffy. I added a few extra chocolate chips to the top so they would look nice, and then these go in the oven at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. And here's how they came out. The perfect amount of pumpkin. I love the gooey chocolate, and they're really nice and squishy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for all the pumpkin themed treats and the fall weather because I am ready.
And lastly, for the drink, I'm adding this orange Olipop.
Next up, I have Jackson with me.
Hi.
And for this one, we're going to start by making a delicious and addicting snack mix first. If you love ranch flavored things, you're gonna want to try this recipe.
To a bowl, I'm adding 1 cup of knockoff Chex cereal. Next, I'm adding 1 cup of oyster crackers, then 1 cup of goldfish pretzels, and then 1 cup of rainbow goldfish.
Next, Jackson is going to drizzle about 2 tablespoons of melted butter all over the mix. And this is unsalted butter because everything else is going to be salty enough when we're done.
Once I have this all coated in butter,
and then I'm going to measure 2 tablespoons of some dry ranch seasoning powder.
That gets sprinkled on, and then everything gets mixed together.
Next, we're gonna pour this onto a baking sheet, and you have to cook this at 300 for about 12 minutes. Oh yes, and we're gonna flip it midway through. Now while that's happening, we're gonna move on to the main course. And for this, Jackson is going to make a pizza grilled cheese for everyone. Now you don't have to have one of these sandwich makers. You could just use a regular pan, but I do often see these sandwich makers at thrift stores for like $2. So if you're interested, definitely check the thrift store.
I added mozzarella, turkey pepperoni, more mozzarella, then some Parmesan and garlic herb seasoning.
Once the sandwiches are nice and crispy on the outside, they're done. And next time, we'd probably add a bit more cheese. They're just a bit of a cheese pull on these. Now to go along with the pizza grilled cheese, we're also going to add some pizza sauce on the side to dip the sandwiches in.
And then for the fruit and veggies. For the fruit, I chose apple slices. And for the veggie, some celery.
To go with the apples and the celery, we love making this peanut butter cookie dough yogurt dip. It is so good, but easy to make. All we do is combine vanilla Greek yogurt, a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of honey, and then a splash of vanilla extract. Once that's all mixed together, we'll also add about a tablespoon of mini chocolate chips. Now this is tasty just on its own, but it's also really nice to dip your apple slices and your celery in here. So now that the ranch mix has cooled down, we can go ahead and add it into the lunch. Now we have just enough space for a few mini Chips Ahoy.
And then, for the drink, I chose a watermelon Capri Sun.
And now for the lunch filled entirely of Disney cheese. On this day, we all headed to Epcot to check out the Food and Wine Festival happening right now. Now, one thing they do every year is called the Cheese Crawl, and it's basically a challenge. You grab one of these little booklets, and in it are different cheese items from around the world, and we turn this into our lunch for this day. But before we went and tried all the cheese items, we did stop and get one of the pickle milkshakes that you've probably seen all over Instagram and TikTok. And you guys, if you are not following me over on Instagram, definitely do that because I share lots of behind the scenes and day-to-day activities that we are doing. Now, about the pickle milkshake. Now, to me, this tastes like if you blended one entire pickle into a vanilla milkshake. Personally, I don't think the pickle flavor is super strong, but it's definitely there. Most people that I've talked to said that they don't like this shake. But for me and my kids, we actually didn't hate it. But you guys, let me know in the comments down below if you would like a pickle shake or if you think it sounds horrible. So now back to that cheese challenge. The first thing we tried from the list was the smoked corned beef. This had extra thick potato chips, cheese curds, pickled onions, and a cheese fondue. You guys, this one was definitely a 10 out of 10. It was really good and perfect for sharing since it was kind of a heavy dish for such a hot day. After that, we headed over to the India booth to try out the curry spiced crispy cheese. Now you guys, this smelled so good. I'm a huge fan of curry, and to me, the cheese itself tasted a lot like halloumi. The crust on the outside had a lot of curry flavor without being too spicy, but the mango curry ketchup, that was pretty spicy, and some of us didn't like it. Now, after we left India, it was time to make our way over to the Alps and the Germany booth. And that's when it started pouring. And you guys, we were hoping to get this cheese challenge done before it started pouring, but we were not successful. But that's pretty much how it is every afternoon here in Florida during the summertime. It almost rains every day around this time. We ended up hiding out in the China Pavilion. We watched the movie there and checked out the store. And we were hoping that the rain would stop, but it didn't really. So we went back out to find more cheese in the rain. From the Alps booth, we all shared one order of the warm raclette Swiss cheese. Now this had alpine ham and baby potatoes. It had little baby pickles and a baguette. You guys, this cheese is so gooey and not too tangy at all. We all really loved this one. And we also loved the cheese item from the Germany booth. Over there, we got something called the Schickennudeln. Now I know I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but basically it's a pasta gratin with ham, onions, and lots of cheese. Now to me, this tastes like a deluxe baked mac and cheese. It is really, really good. So by this time, we only needed one more cheesy food to complete our cheese crawl. So for this, we had to walk past the Ireland booth, and we had to walk past the UK pavilion, and we made our way over to the Canada booth. The cheese item from Canada was the Canadian cheddar and bacon soup. Now personally, I thought this tasted really good, but there's something just not quite right about eating super hot soup on a super hot and rainy day. Overall, we really did like this soup. So now with this cheese challenge, once you've tried 5 different cheesy foods from the list, you get to claim your free prize. And of course, the prize is more cheese. This was actually a strawberry cheesecake soft serve with half of a piece of cheesecake on top. Oh yes, and you get to keep the souvenir cup. And that was everything we had on our super cheesy day. Next up this week was a lunch picked out by Lily, and for her lunch, we're starting with one of her favorite sweet treats first. We're putting together some no-bake peanut butter protein cookie balls.
To our bowl, I'm adding half a cup of creamy natural peanut butter. I'm also adding 3 tablespoons of honey, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and half a cup of old-fashioned oats.
This next part is optional, but if you wanted to, you could also add 1 scoop of your favorite protein powder. Now, we really like this chocolate one, so I'm adding 1 scoop of this. And then lastly, Lily's gonna add 1 pinch of salt. And then we're gonna mix it all together. Now you guys, if your mixture is looking too wet, add a little bit more oats. But if it's looking too dry, you're gonna wanna add more peanut butter.
Next, I'm going to add some mini chocolate chips and some mini M&Ms.
And basically, if your dough can form a ball without falling apart, it's good to go. Lily and I are just going to keep scooping and rolling these into balls, and then we'll pop them in the fridge to harden up. For Lily's main course, she wants to make her favorite sandwich that she invented herself, and it starts with a bagel thin.
I'm going to add this to my toaster, and while that's happening, I'm going to cook some bacon.
But you guys, this is the microwave kind, so it's really easy for her to do.
And I like the bacon extra crispy.
She means almost burnt.
It's good that way. Once my bagel is toasted, I'm going to add some onion and chive cream cheese. Next, I'll add the bacon, and I don't always add it, but if we have some lettuce, I like to add that too. And it's everything in my special sandwich. For my fruit, I chose cutie oranges. And for the veggie, I chose broccoli. But I only like broccoli if it's fresh and not cooked. And I always like to have it with ranch on the side. For a snack, I chose some white Cheeto Puffs.
And for the sweet treat, here are those protein balls. And then finally, for the drink, we're adding a pink lemonade Honest Kids juice. Okay guys, now that brings us to Griffins Lunch, which is going to be super quick and easy to put together, since he's the youngest. For his sandwich, he's going to use one of our DIY Uncrustable makers, and I really do like this set from Amazon. And if you guys are doing any back to school shopping right now, I will add a link to all of the products that I use in the description box below.
I already cut my bread into a Mickey shape.
And then I'm just going to press the center down a bit to make room for the filling.
I'm adding some smooth peanut butter and some grape jelly.
Now to make this into an Uncrustable, you just have to close up the sandwich, add the cutter back on, and then with the ridged piece, you just press down firmly to create a seal. This turned out so cute. You did a great job.
Thanks. For the fruit, I chose grape. And for the veggie, some baby carrots.
We're also adding some ranch to go with those. And then for a snack on the side, Griffin's going to add some of these cheese cubes. For the sweet treat, Griffin chose some Jammy Dodgers. Now I'm pretty sure that these cookies come from the UK, but basically they're just like 2 little shortbread cookies with a strawberry jam filling. And then lastly, we got you a special drink, right?
Yeah.
Who made this drink?
Unspeakable.
And what is Unspeakable?
YouTube.
A YouTuber? Do you watch them?
Yes.
You guys let us know in the comments down below if you watch
Unspeakable.
Because apparently they're YouTubers and they also make juice now.
Yes.
Okay guys, now we are gearing up for back to school lunches, so definitely let me know what type of back to school lunches you'd like to see. And if you have any questions, leave them down below and I'm hoping to answer them in next week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time.